welcome to Friday Night Live with me, Mark Dolan. Should the post office be shut down in the light of a scandal which has shocked the nation? Could Suella Braverman sink Rishi Sunak's Rwanda plan and with it his premiership? Also, this is a fascinating debate. Could Prince Andrew do a Prince Harry and split from the royal family and wage war on the monarchy? Can you imagine if he published a tell-all book? And why does this war in the Red Sea matter to you and me? I know, what am I doing, giving him ideas? All of that plus much more. Friday Night Live with me, Mark Dolan. We start with my big opinion. It is the 12th of January, and around that time when people have started to give up their New Year's resolutions. And Sir Ed Davies' New Year's resolution to remain leader of the Lib Dems looks to be in peril. Unfortunately, he was in post, no pun intended, as a minister when hundreds of innocent postmasters were being wrongly prosecuted. It's a cruel twist of fate for the Lib Dem leader, as it's the first time that we've been able to talk about this guy since he actually got the top job. Now, I'll be honest, he hasn't had a chance to defend himself, and there are plenty of other people who have some explaining to do. Plus, it seems Davey, like many, was lied to by post office management throughout. But if he does eventually resign, he'll probably have to send his resignation letter via his local post office. I'm sure they'll be delighted to see him. Princess Anne was spotted coming off a normal commercial flight this week, carrying her own bags. No private jet, no personal assistant, no entourage. She really is the no-nonsense princess. The contrast between her and her nephew Harry, who flies around the world on a private jet, whilst moaning about how terrible his life is another stark contrast. Another reason why I love Anne so much is that she's so similar to her mother Elizabeth. Anne is arguably the closest connection we still have to our late great Queen. So if I find myself sat next to Anne the next time I'm on a Ryanair flight, I might just share my complimentary bag of peanuts, because Anne is the best. Meanwhile, the aeroplane manufacturers Boeing suffer another safety scare as the door of a 737 MAX 9 falls off mid-air. It was very distressing for those on board, although pure luxury compared to being sat next to an overweight passenger or a crying baby. Meanwhile, US car rental giant Hertz is offloading thousands of Teslas as weak demand forces it to replace 20,000 electric cars with petrol-powered vehicles instead. Can you believe it? It's almost like petrol cars are more reliable and convenient.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thunk it, Laura Dodsworth? This move away from electric will cost the company £200 million. This news comes as it's revealed electric car sales are slowing in Britain, with projections for future sales cut drastically. Customers worry about something called range anxiety, with concerns that the car is going to conk out before you reach your destination. In Jerry's case, his local pub.
Oh.
Thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. Plus, where do you charge these vehicles? How do you insure them? And how do you pay for their expensive repairs? Meanwhile, you'll love this story. An electric bus in London exploded this week. Not for the first time this has happened, given the combustible and volatile nature of battery technology. I tell you what, I'm not happy. It takes precious rare materials to make these vehicles. The batteries are hard to recycle. These cars require fossil fuel energy to make them and fossil fuel energy to charge them up. Far from being the answer to our prayers, it looks like electric cars are running out of road. And last but not least, Jennifer Aniston, star of Friends, has brought back her famous Rachel haircut. Take a look at this. She's a very fine woman, I think you'll agree, a brilliant actress. And there's the original Rachel look alongside the updated version. Isn't it fabulous?
Which one's which?
I had one of those.
I'll tell you something, there's a few years between, but I don't know, would you go for early Rachel or late Rachel, Jerry?
I'll go for any Rachel.
I was going to say...
Listen, the guy, he's trapped in a loveless marriage. He's not fussy.
Oh,
Laura, did you do something like that with your hair?
I most certainly did. Oh, come on, what woman of that era did not go into the hairdressers and ask for a Rachel? We all had a Rachel. I had a Rachel.
Yeah.
And in fact, looking at the new Rachel, I might go and ask for a new Rachel.
Well,
it's quite inspiring. I like it.
I think you're rocking the Laura, and that works for me.
Are people asking for the Dolan? That's what I want to know.
Sadly, not.
Oh.
Not even wig manufacturers.
Mr. Vine has words about that.
Oh, yes, Jeremy Vine's not happy with my hair, is he?
No, he said you got a dead squirrel in your head.
I think he's jealous. Well, listen, the Rachel hairstyle changed the world. It captured global attention, which is why We decided to bring you the Friday Night Live with Mark Dolan top 10 countdown of best celebrity hairdos. Coming in at number 10, it's got to be Bojo himself. Look at that shock of blonde hair. In at number 9, 70s TV beauty, Farrah Fawcett.
Oh.
Well, I think she's doing a Dodsworth there.
Oh, you're too kind. Do you know, I wanted to be the Charlie's Angels when I was a little girl, so I'm having that, thanks.
Well, you're Dolan's angel tonight. Number 8, legendary record producer Phil Spector. Was that before or after he shot his other half? How about number 7, the former leader of the free world, the man that wants to go back to the White House, the Donald himself. Look at the style.
That's a dead animal on the head.
It is a dead animal.
And what about the hair? In at number 6, Lady Gaga.
Oh, you're on fire.
Oh, she's gone with that one. Look at that. That's Gaga Central, isn't it? Meanwhile, in at number 5, what a great footballer he was, the late, great Sir Bobby Charlton, rocking the comb over. And, of course, there was a day when all men did that.
They did.
Jerry?
They did. David Coleman. Do you remember David Coleman?
Do,
yes.
Yeah. Coleman balls.
Yes.
What a guy. And then suddenly Bruce Willis came along.
Yeah.
And they just thought, right, shave it all off.
Yeah, and you see the latest poll, which is no good for people like you and me, say that more women prefer bald men.
Is that right? Could you bear that one out, Laura Dodsworth?
Well, how to answer this, considering I'm engaged to someone who's bald. I think that if you're going to be bald, do it. Don't do the comb over.
No.
But if you've got hair, don't shave it off.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, let me tell you, this is not a comb over. Not yet, anyway. Give it 5 years. Next up, in at number 4, it's got to be David Beckham. And he gets 2 entries. First of all, the Mohican and something called a cornrow. My producer, Nicola, tried to educate me. I thought it was white man's dreadlocks, but apparently not.
Isn't that cultural appropriation or something?
I think so. Cancel him now. In at number 3, a massive star. GB News legend, Neil Oliver. Look at that luscious mane.
Caveman look.
It is really,
Isn't it?
Flowing beauty.
He's got hair a lot of women would be very jealous of.
Most definitely.
Really?
Thick and lustrous, definitely.
Yeah, but that's dyed, isn't it?
Oh, how dare you. How dare you? Everything with Neil is real.
I'm sure it is.
How about in at number 2? It's got to be Kim Jong-un. And you've got to say you like his haircut or he'll shoot you. And last but not least, celebrity haircuts gone wrong. Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Who's that idiot?
Oh.
And there was I joking about the Dolan.
No. Was
And on that
was that
awkward
your
note-
real hair then?
Yeah. I mean, would you pay for a wig that looked like that?
I don't know. Michael Fabricant might.
There you go. On that crushingly embarrassing note, that was my Friday Big Opinion.